I thought the near perfect phone cage existed until Freewell sent me this for review. This is Freewell's attempt at a phone cage. It is the Genius Vision Kit. And, well, let me tell you, I said no to this originally. And then they sent me some specs about it. And I think there might just be enough in this if you're looking for a cage for your phone that does absolutely everything. Let's dive in. I'm not going to bore you with an unboxing, but there is an actual decent box here. I've obviously unboxed everything. You get your... Anyway. It's a nice box. Now, the actual case itself. Now, for me, maybe it's like you, but I drop my phone quite a lot, and I always have my phone in a case. So with this came along, I'm like, will it fit without a case or with a case? And you have to take your own case off the phone to get it into this Freewell case. But look, it's just part of the course, and I think we're just going to have to get over this BS. If you want to use a cage for your phone, then you got to take your case off of your phone. This has kind of got a different system than a lot of cases. So some cases, or a lot of them rather, you can open and slide in the phone. This has got these little clamps. And to be fair, they don't feel that sturdy until you actually put your phone in. Now, there's no confusion what way it goes in. You've got your lens and it just pushes in. And then once you push these in, it's pretty solid. Similar to the small rig cage, you actually have interesting arms here which mount onto the side of the actual case by pressing these buttons. They're pretty strong and grippy. And then you have two mounting points either side. You have a mounting point, not at the bottom, but at the top. So you can just press your button, put it in. Press your other button, put it in. And they're on there pretty solid. Now keep in mind, these arms, handles, whatever you want to call them. There's one or two little features here that this has over the small rig one, which I think is a nice touch. Up the top here, we have cold shoe mount, cold shoe mount. Now you might be looking at this going, oh, one arrow's pointing this way, one arrow's pointing this way. Well, that's because these, my friends, are completely rotational. So if you've got a mic on or whatever you have, then you can quickly swap it around. Little magnetic thing here. I wonder would they release more magnetic accessories? I'm not sure, but anyway. But you can rotate these around, which this is kind of a little bit fiddly when you rotate it because that comes out, but whatever, as does that. Now, this, however, is an actual remote control. There's no pairing, you just turn it on and it pairs instantly with your phone. It's really useful. You can turn it on and turn it off and press record to get the whole thing up and running. Now, this works flawlessly with the inbuilt iPhone app. It works flawlessly with the Blackmagic camera app. However, Apple's new Final Cut camera, which has got the real juice if you want some kind of stock Apple photography video app, well, video really, doesn't work with this for some reason. So that's an Apple thing, I'm guessing, versus a Freewell thing. It's not a big gripe. I still like pressing the button on the screen. Now, that's basically it here. These rotate. That's really annoying when you turn, but super useful when you want to light a mic, whatever else you've got cold shoe mounted up there. Now, that's not all with these handles. Quite quickly, you could drop one up here. And then, for example, if you're doing like a rotating shot like this, it makes this thing so much easier to do by just changing the actual position of the handle. So you can go here, here. I mean, it's super useful. Not original because it's been done by small rig in the past, but it works the exact same way and it's really efficient. And yeah, that's not all. These handles, grips, whatever you want to call them, have not only this rotatey thing, right, which is really good, it's 360, but in here you can unscrew this, okay, and you can unscrew this, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, Vic, and then you are left with the two of these. Now this one, for example, it's quite stiff, but it extends out into a little handle, which will screw into one of the many mounts that are on here, 1/4 inch thread. Now you might be wondering to yourself, no Siri, what's the other one? Look at this. It's a little tripod. And it's not one of these cheap, flimsy tripods that you kind of get a lot in these types of kits. It's actually something that's really, really durable, so you can quite quickly, boom, put your phone down. This level of detail and this little design is, to me, just a tiny thing, but it's really, really useful and it's super handy to have. That's not all, however, that's with this actual phone cage. If you're a mobile filmmaker, if you're serious about mobile filmmaking, then there's one thing, actually there's probably two things that you will want to do. And the two of those are mobile recording for a start. Aren't they cute? Which means that you'll have to put your hard drive onto this. Now, for me, I have struggled with this hugely, okay? Absolutely hugely. Plugging in a tiny little SS3 drive is, ow, that's powerful, is always a pain in the butt. Now, this is one of the best actual systems I have seen. Freewell have made their own actual cage here for a little portable hard drive. Super useful. Now, there's one extra thing here. This little clamp will actually, it's a cable clamp, so it will tighten onto the cable, meaning that there's no easy way for this to be yanked out by accident. Very simple. It's just, I mean, it's pretty wide, to be fair. Just get your drive in, and that's it. And just position your clamp wherever you need it. Get a pre-prepared cable here and put it in, and that's it. Now, this just goes on to one of the hot shoes, or the cold shoe mounts rather. Super, super useful. We're clamping in our cable, tighten it all up, and that's it. Now, once we get our handles back together, the fact that you have all of this stuff, that you don't have to drag two separate units with you, like a tripod or like a selfie pole or whatever, just means that life is very compact, and that's actually probably, with this kit, true mobile filmmaking, where you can get everything into a tiny bag. So I've got my hard drive on here. Turn it whatever way you want. Tighten it in. That's it. It's on. So we can rotate around. And that is more or less it. And then plug into your iPhone. In this case, this cage is actually for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but there are other options out there as well, directly from Freewell. There you go. It is the neatest, tightest one for hard drives that I've seen. And of course, it doesn't have to go here. It can go there, or over here if you so want. Now, that's not all with this, because not only is that super useful, will it stand? Not to be advised all the time, but nonetheless, it's got one more trick up its sleeve, another separate accessory, and this is a lens. Now, this comes separately, as does the hard drive mount. You put it onto your main lens. It's also magnetic, by the way. Twist on, and that's on there really solid. So within seconds, you have an entire mobile filmmaking kit, and you've got so many other mounts here, whether that's mics or lights or whatever quarter-inch thread accessory that you might have, or again, another few cold shoe mounts. This stuff is really well designed. Now, there's one more thing with this, that it's just like an extra little thing which makes it really worth considering. And that's these handles twist, just like that. Both of them twist, except this one is a little bit looser, but this one will also twist. That one is a little bit stiffer for whatever reason. But either way, these will just give you that extra bit of flexibility. If I had to be critical, I mean, you really got to screw these in, because invariably you will unscrew them if you're moving your hands around quite a bit. But other than that, this thing is pretty rock solid. It's simple to use. It is simple to set up. Now, just before I continue with some of the other down points, let me tell you, there's not really any down points. Freewell did send me this. They said, you want it for a review? I said no initially, because I'm like, just another phone cage. But there's enough in this to actually give it serious consideration. Some of the down points here on this, these may eventually come loose unless you tighten them a lot. Personally, I'm not a fan of the yellow design here. I think, well, it looks very kind of Top Gun-y or military-esque. It kind of looks cool. I much prefer like a whole matte black thing. That would be it. But then they have all the gear that matches. So obviously the colors here on the hard drive cage, case, grip, mount work alongside it. That's just an aesthetics thing for me. It's probably one of the less finicky camera lenses systems that I've come across. That's a really big positive, I think, because you can just get on and get off. By the way, as well, with this, screw-on filters, which is super, super useful. If you want to add on any filters, for example, this is a UV filter that comes with the actual lens. As Vic blindly tries to get this back on, struggling to get it back on. Let's just take it all off. See how easy it is to get off? The other down point is I hate taking my phone out of a case, but that's just me being really dumb and awkward. But other than that, there's very little bad things to say about this. I think the price is really good. The accessories that you can get purposely built for this. Now, obviously, these accessories will work on other cages that have got 1/4-inch treads or, you know, cold shoe mounts. That's all well and good. But this is, I gotta say, I said no, as I've said probably about 10 times now to this initiative. I was like, nah, I don't want it. But if I was going to use a phone cage in the morning, out of all of the stuff that's out there, without going like super, super custom built high-end Hollywood stuff, this would be the one to go for. Now, it's not the most beautiful looking cage in the world. I'd give Small Rigs Brandon Lee one. That's a little bit nicer looking, but other than that, for functionality, this, if you're looking for a phone cage for a camera, this, serious consideration. I've left a link in the description if you want to see a little bit more about it. And I'll see you on the next video. And by the way, if you want to see a video that YouTube records you'll absolutely love, this one right here. See you on the next one.